Chapter 3, moving from frozen stuffing balls to the rock star world of media. Working at RHM, I lived in Didsbury, south of a town called Manchester, a big town in the northwest of the UK. The office was at a production plant for Bisto in Nantwich, middle of nowhere. It's about a 45-minute drive or so from where I lived, which seemed cool to everyone at the time. When I look back, it was a bit bonkers, next to a production plant. As I've said, it was kind of cool because we had a development kitchen and there was always food, which is good and bad. I felt that I was tasting gravy every few weeks. The bottom line was that innovation is harder than it looks. It's almost, the idea is easy. You know, we came up with some obvious brand extensions for Bisto and Paxo and tested those as concepts. But then you have to kind of make them real. That makes it hard. And we did these test launches in Asda in the UK. And I was still hungry and generally fairly impatient as a 20-something. Always had a love of music. And I think it was a headhunter. I hadn't ever thought I could go from gravy to music in one easy step. But Capital Radio were looking for a new marketing manager. I didn't think they'd take somebody who hadn't come from media or from radio, but they were up for the interview. So I traipsed down to London, to Leicester Square, and the MD, Martina King, was sick that day. And so her assistant showed me around, Liz Aki, who then over the years became a good friend, was a good friend of my wife, who I hadn't met by then. It was really cool. Leicester Square, music blaring, a real sense of dynamism. Couldn't be more different to what was a little bit sedentary, even though we were a dynamic team at RHM. A little bit sedentary compared to the world of radio and music. So had another interview with Martina when she was better. She was amazing, smart, calm. Actually, when I look back, probably one of the best bosses. Huge amount of empowerment. I had no idea what I was doing. I kind of understood marketing and she just let me get on with stuff. And that was incredible. Inheriting a team. And I guess I'm going to have to come back to another chapter to talk more about the achievements. I think the lessons learned in your 20s, if you're smart and you're ambitious, it's easy to be impatient and worse. So it's a constant juggle. I think millennials and particularly Gen Zs are probably generally quite impatient and looking for a lot. Obviously, market dynamics are a factor. The jobs aren't there, then you can simply be less choosy. But there's this sense when I look back of, you know, this kind of rise and but you must pick your opportunities carefully. I think it is worth trying to do some sort of ikigai. It is worth looking at your capability gaps. It is worth, and this is the hardest part, trying to figure out the culture in which you're most likely to thrive. That's where you need friends and mentors and others that you trust from a really early age to be your sounding board. This looks great. They're going places. Look at this leap in salary. Look at this leap in responsibility. Is it you? Is it truly you? Does it fit who you are? What will you learn? How will you grow? How will you contribute? I didn't think I spent that much time in a lot of my roles looking back on that, or enough rigor. But Capital was definitely a really good move. Media is bonkers. It's a lot of fun and it suits certain people and it works in certain life stages. So on to chapter 4 next time, and I'll talk a bit more about what the team and I achieved in marketing within what was then Capital Radio.